like the Wile E. Coyote. Well, I had the privilege of serving our state as the Attorney General for 5 years, and in that capacity, you deal with issues that come up and issues that impact the state. We had a budget crisis in January, and the state budget, we're talking about layoffs, it was a deficit, and what I did is every department head was scheduled to get a 5% pay increase, and so I didn't take the pay increase, I turned it back to the taxpayers, because I didn't think it was right that we were facing a budget deficit for department heads to be taking a pay raise. So that's an example where I think it's important to lead by example. And you see it in Congress too, where you see Congress getting special benefits or a pay raise. And then, you know, in the private sector right now, difficult economy, people aren't getting pay raises. And I don't think members of Congress should be treated any differently than any of the rest of us. I mean, we're there to serve. And that's the type of attitude that I would bring to the Senate. The first thing that I would do is I would ask every single agency in the federal government to submit a budget that has a 20% cut. And then we would look and decide which agencies we were going to cut. We wouldn't necessarily do an across-the-board cut, but some agencies you may cut more, some you may cut less. Then I would push a balanced budget amendment. 48 states, including New Hampshire, have the requirement to balance their budget, but yet in Washington they think they can just keep printing money. So I would support a balanced budget amendment. I would also end the process of earmarks because it has been used to buy people's votes. It's been a corrupted process, and I think it's really a symptom of the kind of attitude in Washington of not accountability for taxpayer dollars. I think that every spending item should now have a sunset requirement so that Congress is required to reauthorize the spending for every spending item so that we can look at each program and say, do we still need it? And if we don't, we let it expire and we repeal those programs. I think that unfortunately this administration has created an incredible climate of uncertainty for our businesses, and so they are holding back on hiring right now. And it's related to two things. They see the out-of-control spending in Washington, and in January a whole host of tax increases coming on businesses. Personal income taxes, reinstatement of the death tax, capital gains, interest, dividends. They're also talking about a VAT tax. What that does for businesses is they say, hold back, I'm not going to hire a new worker right now, we might have to pay more. The healthcare bill is going to add to our healthcare costs. They're also saying, can I afford to provide healthcare? So they're holding back on hiring. We have to create a positive climate in this country, so lower taxes on our businesses to get people back to work. And I think there's one tax that I would reduce the tax rate on, the corporate tax rate. We have the second highest corporate tax rate in the world. So what ends up happening is corporations locate elsewhere. Capital gains, we should actually cut that to spur investment so we can put more young people to work by allowing our businesses to thrive, and they'll need the new workers, and they'll need those graduates coming out of high school and college with that kind of knowledge and energy to expand their business. Well, I actually think of all the candidates running, I have the most in common with them. I think I'm the youngest candidate running. I'm 42 years old. I would definitely bring down the average age in the Senate because some of those guys have been there forever. And I support term limits, so I want to go down there and get things done for young people. I'm also the mother of 2 children, and one of the reasons that I'm running for this seat is I want to make sure that we're not passing on to the next generation the problems that this generation has failed to step up to the plate and address. So I would ask for the vote of the young people here in New Hampshire, and we need you to get involved. Get involved with a candidate you can get behind and support, and please get out to vote. I like the Wile E. Coyote. I think that the Wile E. Coyote is he's always getting into things. He's sometimes clever, he's sometimes not, but he's one of my favorite characters.